I shop online at Target fairly regularly, and I was struck by the post-Christmas visual on their homepage this week. It says, build new routines. That's great, right? It says, everything you need to enhance your well-being. Everything you need. I saw that and I was like, really, Target? Everything? Everything I need? Do you really think that a Stanley mug and a new pair of leggings are everything I need for my well-being?
Welcome to this special episode where we hear a 7-minute excerpt from a sermon given in January. The message is timeless. It is not a sermon about sexual minorities, but its message will resonate, I think, with anyone having a challenging season in their life.
Well, good morning. Happy New Year. How's it going so far? Going well. We're 7 days in. I hope that this year brings peace and joy. And I hope that it brings more good moments than bad. But I also know that likely for many of us, the new year may already not be off to a great start. You may have already received some bad news that you weren't expecting, or you've been hit by hardship or loss. Or perhaps, as 2023 ended, you already knew that you would be walking into a difficult season this year. And if that's the case, I hope that you still are able to sense God's deep love for you and God's presence with you in the midst of whatever it is that you're facing. But wherever you are landing, good or bad, hard or easy, there is inevitably a desire for fresh starts and clean slates and new routines as we move into the month of January. There's something about turning the page on a new calendar year that makes us look back reflectively and look ahead hopefully. Last week, as a community, if you were here in Sunday worship, we had a chance to look back over our year during a time of silent reflection during the service. And over the next few weeks in our sermon series, we'll be looking ahead and considering how to live our lives in this upcoming year, and specifically what kinds of habits and practices we want to build our lives upon. If you are anything like me, I imagine that your email inbox has been bombarded with various advertisements and offers. I'm not kidding you, like seminars and workshops and cohorts and books and plans, all of these things to help shape your new year and your new you, right? Whether it is a nutrition plan or a workout plan or a goals workshop, the world has a lot of messages about how to live a good life. So I shop online at Target fairly regularly, and I was struck by the post-Christmas visual on their homepage this week. It says, build new routines. That's great, right? The subtitle, I don't know if you can read it, it says, everything you need to enhance your well-being. Everything you need. I saw that and I was like, really, Target? Everything? Everything I need? Do you really think that a Stanley mug and a new pair of leggings are everything I need for my well-being? The world has a lot of messages about what we need for our well-being and about what routines we have to include to live our best life. And as much as I do love Target, I don't think that it has everything I need to enhance my well-being. But it does beg the question, what do you need for your well-being this year? And what new routines are you building into your year? The writer Annie Dillard famously said, how we spend our days is, of course, how we spend our lives. What we do with this hour and that one is what we are doing. That sounds very simple. But the idea that the hours of our day and the days of our week add up to the sum of our lives is a profound reality. So are you spending your hours in a way that adds up to a good life. The new year provides this very unique time to pause, to reflect, and to consider the messages that we are listening to and that we are living by. What are the narratives that are shaping the story of your life? And does the way you are currently living your life align with your values, with who you say you want to be and what you say you believe and who you really want to live like? I think it's safe to say that we all want to live a good life. But what does that even mean? What is the good life? In his book, The Good and Beautiful Life, author James Bryan Smith says, "I believe that the key to beginning a good and beautiful life is to adopt the narratives of Jesus. I discovered that as I replaced my old false narratives with the narratives of Jesus, my life began to change in many ways." And he goes on to describe that as he lived out the narratives of Jesus, some of those changes in his life included falling in love with the God that Jesus knows, which was a different kind of God than he was thinking. It included seeing himself differently as a beloved one, a one in whom Christ dwells. It included treating other people differently. And he comes to the conclusion that the good and beautiful life is created by doing the things Jesus commanded, not as laws or rules, but as a new way of life. As followers of Jesus, our way of life in 2024, and really every year, should be deeply shaped by the life and the teachings of Jesus, not just in some abstract or philosophical way, but in real, personal, and practical ways. I wonder if we were to incorporate some of the practices and habits and teachings of Jesus into our life this year in fresh and intentional ways, how might that shape the hours of our days and ultimately the story of our lives? What if our New Year's resolution was to live more like Jesus? What if we were hoping to be more aware of Jesus in our everyday life? What kinds of habits and choices and routines would you need to include in your life to move towards that? As it turns out, Jesus cares not simply about our afterlife, but our present life. Jesus showed us how to live a good life, and Jesus actually had a lot to say about living a good life. In the Gospel of Matthew, chapters 5, 6, and 7, it's one continuous teaching by Jesus about how to live a good life. We call this teaching the Sermon on the Mount, and in it, Jesus covers everything from how to live as one who's blessed, to how to treat others, to how to use our words. A reminder to not just agree that Jesus' teaching is theologically acute or logical and just nod our heads in agreement and then go about our day unchanged, but to build our lives around the words and practices of Jesus and put them into practice in our own lives. Living according to the teachings and practices of Jesus leads to a good life, a life that can withstand the storms and trials that we will inevitably face.
We have several future episodes that will discuss this topic further. What is the good life? What is the God-honoring life? A lot more coming up. And thank you so much for joining us. We recently reached 60,000 listens across 110 countries. I know that some of you are in a place where it is not safe for you to talk about this podcast. But if you are in a safe place, help us reach more listeners by spreading the word, posting on social media, or reviewing this podcast. It is appreciated. And remember,
God loves you and God is with you. And that is the most powerful truth that you can hold on to.
this is Elton Sherwin. Please stay safe.